First, what I did was I drew the shape onto one side of the foam, as you can see. And this is a pretty simple shape to draw out, but you can print out a template and use that if you want to, if you are struggling with this bit. And also you can make it as big or as small as you want. I ended up making mine about the same size as my hand, as you can see. But this shape is pretty simple to do. And also you want to make sure that your foam is pretty thick. My foam is about 5 inches. Or if your foam or your sponge isn't thick enough, you can glue 2 pieces together before you do this, just to make it a little bit thicker. So that's what it should look like. And next we want to start cutting this out. So here is what the shape looks like so far, and as you can see I've already finished smoothing and rounding off most of it because this part usually takes the longest. I just wanted to get most of it done. So what you want to do is, once you've finished cutting around the shape and cut off all 4 corners of the foam, and you should have something that looks kind of the same on both sides. And then you also want to cut an indent down the middle to make the legs. And then you just want to start making round cuts all the way around it, and I'll pretend to do it here. So you just want to do that for the whole thing until the top forms kind of an oval shape, if that makes sense. And then you just want to continue just to smooth off the shape, and you also want to round off the legs like so. And then just continue to make small cuts all the way around it, just to make it as smooth as you can. So you just want to keep doing that for both sides, and then you also want to smooth off the other parts as well. And then what you want to do is you just want to smooth off the bottom part as well, and just smooth off the edges of the legs or the feet. And again, I'm just kind of pretending to do it here. And now I'm just continuing just to round off this leg so it looks more like this one. So now I'm just going to finish this and I will be right back. So once you've finished that, next what you want to do is you want to make the face shield, and I've already finished making it, as you can see. So what I did was I just took one of these bath sponges and I just drew out a oval shape, and then I just cut it out with my scissors and just kept trimming all the way around it just to turn it into basically like a cylinder sort of shape at first. And then what I did was I cut off some of the foam since it was way too thick. And then you just want to make curved cuts all the way around it like this. Again, I'm just pretending to do this. And basically you want to turn it kind of into like an oval bun shape, if that makes sense. And then just make like smaller snips with your scissors just to make it as smooth as possible. But make sure that the other side is completely flat, obviously. And then you just want to make sure that it fits onto the front of the squishy like this. And if it's still a little bit too big, then just trim it down a little bit more. But I think my one looks pretty good. And if you find this bit too difficult, then you can just paint on the face shield if you want to. You do not have to make it a separate piece. But I'm going to be gluing this onto the squishy later once it is painted. And then once you have both parts ready, we can finally start painting it. Next, what I did was I painted the face shield. So what I did was I just painted the entire thing a light blue colour. And then you just want to paint on an oval shape at the top, just using your white paint or your white puffy paint, just to create the shine on the face shield. And then what I did was I just mixed some blue and black paint together to create a slightly like darker shade of blue, and then I just added some shading to the bottom, as you can see. And then this part is optional, but I also decided to outline it with black puffy paint, as you can see. Just to make it look more like the one in the game. So now I'm just going to continue painting the squishy. Now it is completely up to you what colour you want to paint yours. I decided to paint mine red. And sorry about the lighting in this clip, it's because the sun is going down and I only have my bedroom light on now. And you can paint yours whatever colour you want. I know there are loads of different colours you can choose from. And I chose red because I feel like red is like the main colour in the game, or like the classic colour, so that's why I chose it. And also I nearly forgot to mention that I was using this image here on my phone as reference. And so far I'm really happy with how this is turning out. So now you just want to let this completely dry, and then we can move on to the next step. So once both parts of the squishy are completely dry, we can now move on to making the backpack. So what I did was I just took some red felt and I just cut out 2 square or rectangle shapes that are the same size. And I also used a ruler and a pen to draw them out before I cut them out. And depending on how big you made your squishy, you might need to make it like a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger than I did, depending on how big you made your squishy. So my ones are about 9.5 centimetres by 8.5 centimetres. And then you just want to make sure that they fit onto the back of the squishy to make the backpack. And then next what you want to do is you want to glue them onto the back of the squishy just using some strong glue. So I'm just going to do that and I will be right back. Here is what it looks like once I've finished gluing down the felt. And again, I recommend using a pretty strong glue for this. I just used my all-purpose glue. So basically what I did was I just placed one of the pieces of felt onto the back of the squishy and I glued down all 4 edges. And then for the other piece, you just want to place it on top of the other piece of felt, and you want to glue down these 3 edges here. But make sure not to glue the top edge because you want it to open at the top like this. So just make sure not to glue down that edge because you want it to open up. So hopefully that makes sense. And next what we want to do is you want to glue on the face shield. Here is what the final squishy looks like, and as you can see I glued on the face shield, and again I just used my all-purpose glue for this. And I'm so proud of how this came out. It came out exactly like how I imagined it. And it is also really soft and squishy. And again, the backpack does open up at the top, so you can put stuff in it if you want to. So I'll just put in a couple of pencils just to show you an example. So it can hold pencils, stationery, or it can even hold paintbrushes or makeup brushes if you want it to. And by the way, like, this part is completely optional. You do not have to make it into a holder if you don't want to. So you can just make the backpack out of foam if you want to. But I just thought this would make it just a little bit more unique. And also I will show you the image that I was inspired by to do this. So this is the image here. And as you can see, like, this one is kind of like different. It's in like a different pose, but this is what I was inspired by. And it can probably also hold your foam, but I don't know if it will be safe or not, because I don't know if the felt will make the foam like overheat, or I could be completely wrong. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just so happy with how it turned out. And again, you can make it whatever size you want and whatever colour you want. And also you can add whatever like extra things you want to it. I know there's like loads of different accessories you can add to the crewmates and the imposters. And I'm really glad that I finally did this tutorial, because I really wanted to do an Among Us squishy tutorial for a while now, because I know that the game is really popular at the moment. But I wanted to make mine like more like unique, because I know that Squishy Boba Forever has already done quite a few Among Us squishy tutorials, and I just wanted to see how I could make mine a bit more like different and unique. And I think it worked out really well. And I'll definitely be using this to hold some stationery from now on. Oh, and it can also stand as well. So yep, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and as always, please feel free to request any more squishy tutorials you would like me to do in the comments below. And I really hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye!